Hello and welcome to the Swear Jar with me, Graham Hughes, and I'm joined by Mike Dix. And I realise I just haven't put your name up. Ah, shit. Should we call you Wayne? Can I call you Wayne?
Isn't my surname like the first swear of the whole event? Anyway,
It is
Dicks,
absolutely
fucking dicks. They're all dicks.
Dicks, massive, big, swinging dicks. I'll make Wayne's name come up. There you go. It says Wayne Lynch, Tory. There you go. God, it's a double insult.
Brilliant. Thanks. Fuck you, Wayne.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. So anyway, I've just woken up, as everyone's going to realise pretty quickly. I'm not quite with it. John, hi. Diz, hi. Sarah, hi. Simon, hi. Paula. Simon again. Spooky Things. Hello, Spooky Thang. Spooky Thang, 95. Hello. And also we got Shinzed in there as well. We've got loads of wonderful people. We've got Chris C. We've got One Angry Pig. We've even got a super chat in. A super chat from some young
Who's
buck
that?
called A. Thompson. And he says...
he looks hot.
He
looks really hot.
He does. Good evening, Graham and Mike, you absolute sorts. Kiss. We got a kiss. We've got capitals and a kiss. It's all good. It's all good. So the swear jar is just our opportunity to let our hair down and not care about monetization and call a motherfucker, basically. And there's lots of people to call motherfuckers at the moment. And should we just go straight for Wes Streeting?
Yeah. Smooth-faced motherfucking little turd.
Balloon-faced cunt.
Here's the thing. I think we should definitely be doing a podcast, two ADHD people talking about Wes Streeting going for ADHD people today.
Yes, that's what we should definitely be doing. And this is the podcast that you should be listening to.
Because both of us, we both have a heightened sense of injustice, which is what makes us do this stuff for free. Yeah. And it's incredibly unjust that a man who doesn't need to shave has been made the health secretary of this country. I mean, I think it should be a basic criteria. If they're going to choose a man, a cis man, he's not a cis man, but any form of man to do that job, they should do a shaving test. Leave him for 5 days.
He's a cis boy.
If he can't grow a beard within 5 days, he can't have the job.
So
as simple as that.
So this is about Wes Streeting has claimed he's going to do a report into ADHD being overdiagnosed. Now,
and
my
autism.
issue, yes,
and autism.
My major issue with this is the fact that for literally decades it was underdiagnosed because people like me went through my entire school career and I was just told that I was naughty. I was disruptive. I didn't get things done to the last minute. Poor executive
I've been told that for 56 years, 2 wives, dozens of teachers, my mother, who now thinks she might have ADHD, but says at the age of 86, it's probably not worth getting diagnosed, which I tend to agree with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something we didn't even have a name for when we were kids, right? We were just troublemakers, basically.
I was told I was hyperactive. I wasn't allowed to have sugary sweets from the tuck shop, right? Yeah. But I was in school with a bunch of other kids, so you just gave someone else some money and they'll get it for you.
Yeah. You come up with a devious plan to acquire sweets.
So easy. It was ridiculous.
It becomes a major challenge for an ADHD mind to go, okay, this is brilliant. I can start dealing
How do I get around this? Oh, I can just go into a shop and buy some food from there because unless my mum goes in to see every shopkeeper in Liverpool, they're not going to stop me from buying sweets. If this little annoying ginger kid comes in, don't give him sweets.
I mean, on a serious point here, right? What Streeting keeps doing is picking up populist themes. These are the kind of things that Tice or Farage or Oakeshott would be saying. It's the kind of rubbish that he just picks on to get headlines, basically. My mum, bless her, she understands it. She's got 2 sons who have got ADHD diagnosis now, and she is starting to question it herself. She took whatever advice was given to her back in the day, but she still believes, she's 86, bless her, she still believes that, well, we didn't have ADHD in my day. And you think, well, you did because you've got it, basically. But fundamentally, she believes that line of, we didn't have it in my day. What are these kids complaining about? They're just moody, or they're just hyperactive, or they're just troublemakers, or they're just a bit thick, whatever it is. that old-fashioned view. And Streeting is just jumping on that. And he did it with trans. This is the thing we said in the politics social group today. You know, we're all trans allies. We've got trans friends in that group, and we do our best to align with them on as many issues as we can and topics as we can. But Streeting has gone through the trans community, and now he's going for the ADHD and autistic community, basically. And you think, okay, well, let's just do a list of vulnerable communities within your own voting fucking population and have a go at them, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
But I mean, this surge of diagnoses, it is a real thing, but it correlates with increased awareness, reduced stigma. You know, the overall mental health decline as a result of the pandemic and the awful handling of the pandemic by the Tory government at the time, improved screening tools, like a better understanding in the medical community of what this is and what the symptoms are, and ways of alleviating it as well. And I just see this, we're going to get to a point where they have diagnosed people with ADHD, like people who are left-handed, or people who are trans, or people who are gay. And it's just like, we'll get to a plateau, and that'll be the number of people. The number of people with autism is not going up. The number of people with ADHD isn't going up. It's just the number of people diagnosed with it that's going up.
And it's not only that, right? He frames it in the Times article as there are too many 16 to 25-year-olds not working because they've got an ADHD diagnosis, right? For a start, I'm fairly certain that statistic's a load of bollocks, basically. You and I both have diagnoses. We are not queuing up trying to get benefits to help us or PIP payments or anything else. All it actually does for you, and it's been really pertinent for me within his poxy NHS, which he should do something about. He's not responsible for fucking mental health. They don't do anything about mental health in the National Health Service anyway. We need a National Mental Health Service. Why is he stepping out of his fucking boundaries again? Yeah. Right? Just, if you're going to do something about this, make the NHS work better for people with ADHD. I brought this up with my GP the other day. I'm on. You're not on medication yet, are you? I don't think.
No.
Have you? No.
It took me 2 years to get my
diagnosis,
and it's taken me. I got my diagnosis last January. It's now December. Nothing.
Right.
I haven't had a conversation with a human being about it since my diagnosis.
No, well, I mean, I'll tell you what you need to do is you need to get in touch with the pharmacist.
We need to say thank you to Chris first. We need to say thank you to Chris. Chris, beautiful, beautiful person. You, 20 quid. Thank you. This is nothing to do with overdiagnosis. It's all about cutting the welfare budget, pure and simple. They are pandering to those who see every child with ADHD or autism as naughty and they need corporal punishment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chris, you're absolutely
absolutely
right. This is exactly what Refuck would do. It's Refucker in power. We had Richard Tice the other week going on about kids wearing earmuffs, noise cancelling headphones in school. So they can concentrate.
It's a way of allowing those kids to take part in normal classrooms, whereas in the past they'd have been sent off to a school for loonies. In my day, that's what we'd have called it, and that's what Ty still thinks like. And this goes back to what I was saying about the GP the other day, right? I just had it out with him and said, look, amongst all the other pills, potions, treatments, and stressful things I'm going through at the moment, I have to once every 2 months weigh myself officially somewhere and take a picture of that. It has to be at a GP surgery or a pharmacy, and take my blood pressure, send photos of that in order to get the pills that they've been giving me for the last 2 months. Now with ADHD, what you do, you and I both prepared for this YouTube podcast 3.5 minutes before we went live, because that's what we do, right? So what happens with ADHD?
That's why I'm always 3 minutes late.
If you sit there, you pop out all your pills for a week, if you've got some level of OCD, you know that on Thursday you are going to run out of pills, and you know that you are going to have to take your blood pressure, take photos, weigh yourself, upload that to the pharmacy app's website, ask them some questions and get yourself responded to so that you can go to the pharmacy and pick up some more drugs. That adds to your anxiety. It gives you admin anxiety, so you put it off and you put it off and you put it off. All of which those tablets help you deal with, basically. And in order to get those tablets, you have to go through this magnificent amount of stupid bureaucratic stress. there has to be better ways to do things like this. There has to be. And that's what I mean about these diagnoses, where it helps is I now put it up front and I say I just had a conversation with a cancer nurse about trying to get a grip on the information underload that I'm getting about what's happening now with my cancer, right? And who am I supposed to be dealing with, and who do I report new symptoms to? All right. And I just said, I go up front with them and say, look, I've got ADHD. We're going to need to find a way to make this work. Basically, I can help you by telling you how I react to things. You're a professional. You should know something about that as well. If I'd got autism, it would be a different thing altogether. It'd be another way of dealing with these things. It's just about taking it into account. And educationally and in the workplace, it's the same thing. It's if we know and if we have good diagnosis for it, and if you help the people that are diagnosed to understand it more and understand themselves and how they work, then actually everybody gets more productive. Everybody,
Absolutely.
the NHS, the police, schools, everything gets more productive, basically.
Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. I have cerebral palsy. I strongly suspect Streeting will claim that too many of us are not working, we're overdiagnosed. It's about as daft. Yeah. But to go back to the point about refuck and them wanting to take earmuffs off kids, why don't they take glasses off people? What are they doing wearing those glasses in school? Well, because they need it in order to do the lesson. Otherwise, they can't see the teacher. They can't see the whiteboard. They can't actually participate. So, Kat, when she was in school, they wanted to put her into a deaf school. And she went deaf at 4. So she could speak. She learned to speak normally. She doesn't sound deaf when she talks or sound deaf from birth. And they wanted to put her in this school where there were teenagers who were still learning their ABCs. And the parents were like, no, absolutely no way you're putting her in this school. This is in the 1980s. And they had to fight for her to go into mainstream school. And the reason why the schools didn't want to have a deaf child in the school was because it would mean the teacher would have to wear a radio transmitter that would go into Kat's ear when she was a kid. And it was a bit of hassle for them. She'll have to carry the radio transmitter from one class to the next. And, it's a bit of paperwork, isn't it? And they just wanted her to sort of, they would prefer to farm all the kids off to the special schools where, they're treated like infants for the rest of their lives. And, I see that sort of mentality is very strong in the privately educated types of Richard Tice and Nigel Farage. And now it's coming out of Wes Streeting, who's supposed to be Labour and supposed to be left-wing, and he's a social conservative.
He's a shiny-faced reform candidate, basically. He tried to become Keir Starmer, didn't he? And he failed at that just before the conference. So he's like, was it just before the conference or a month ago? I can't remember. His last attempted coup, basically.
Well, no, there was an an accusation of an attempted coup. We don't really know what was going on there. But, Elle says, I'm only on PRN. I went on one. Fuck knows how I was by MH. 6 hours later, I'm bollocking. I didn't take it. This is a control med, street value. I dare carry it. I don't dare carry it with me. That's another thing. Like the medication is in short supply at the moment, and that's not my fault for having ADHD. That's not your fault because there's too many of us. It's the fault of the fucking government for taking us out the fucking EU, which has meant that not only are there shortages of the medicines that we need, there's also shortages of the chemicals that we need to treat water, which has come as a bit of a shock to the people of Kent who voted for Brexit and haven't had any fresh water for 6 days.
The chemicals, there's a survey out today about the chemicals in water, isn't there, basically, that is suggesting that we've been living for the last 50 years with processed chemicals in the water supply and food supply that are probably causing cancers. For example, I'm not saying I'm hunting around for a class action suit at the moment. Basically, I was thinking about suing Jeff Bezos for it today, but it's we take it for granted that all of these things are okay because corporations are doing them, but they're all doing it for profit.
Yeah.
Ellie Butterfly Chaos as well makes a good point about the street value of the drugs that they're handing out. It is basically methadone, so it's
Yeah, but I mean this sort of characterization, this vitriolic characterization of people with ADHD. They're just doing it for the benefits. And like, what fucking benefits? We're doing it to try and function better. When I was younger, I functioned better than I do now. I find ADHD overwhelm a much bigger thing now. I have trouble finishing stuff when I never used to have this much trouble. I've always left things to the last minute. I've always needed a deadline. That's fine, whatever, deal with it. But in the last few years, I've found it a lot more difficult just getting on with shit. And I need to motivate myself. And you're like me, you work for yourself. If you decide not to get out of bed one day, you're not going to get paid,
Yeah. But then these are the superpowers of ADHD. We do get out of bed. We get focused, basically. We can do these things better than most people to some extent.
Yeah.
Like if living your entire life with rejection syndrome, in that one of the characteristics of ADHD is that you genuinely think that everybody is going to reject you or let you down at some point in time.
Yes.
We have become sturdy animals in life because we are expecting to be rejected by people constantly. And when we are, we just toughen up and toughen up and toughen up. You just have to be able to cope with that stuff. As a freelancer, as a salesperson of any sort, it's one of the best things that you can have for yourself.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, it is.
You are predisposed to being rejected constantly, basically.
Well, yeah, I expect them to say no. I always expect them to say no. But then I guess I always thought that was just a character trait that I had, that I'll have it in my head that, to sort of, if there was a good result and a bad result, I'd always expect the bad results. And then if I got the good results, I'd be pleasantly surprised. Whereas if I got the bad result, I wouldn't be too crushed because I was expecting it. It didn't come out the blue.
Yeah. No, again, that's the thing that we prepare by overthinking, right? So, just to bring it back to myself, because I like doing that, but I am going through a process of trying to, having had a year with a certain healthcare team trying to do certain things for me, I feel like that's just been pulled away from me instantly in the last 2 weeks. And now I've got to find this new team, find new allies, build new information resources. And actually the vacuum of that is driving me spare because I'm just going through every possible scenario at the moment. And they're not illogical. It's not hypochondria. It is literally going, okay, if I don't get a CT scan in the next week or so, then how on earth is a surgeon going to make an informed decision in the next 2 weeks? I'm going to need to push for a CT scan earlier. I'm going to need to find surgeons and pin them down and do some research on them. I'm going to need to push my doctors and nurses to make all of that happen. It's a bloody brilliant skill when you manage to focus it. But it's like, what's the character in Marvel that has the visor? The one that has laser eyesight and he has to wear a visor to control it.
Cyclops.
Is it Cyclops?
Yeah.
It's like that. If you take the visor off, it just goes everywhere.
Yes.
The visor on.
I need the visor. I need that. Yeah. Can I have that? And I mean, they say that, obviously the drugs that you're given do have a street value, but they are very cheaply to make drugs. It's not like these are stuff that is on.
You can make it in a camper van in the desert, basically.
Well, yeah, but I don't think anyone's got a patent on it. So unlike some other drugs, like the weight loss jabs that they've put the prices right up for because of Donald Trump, they can't do that with these drugs. But we just don't have the system set up, do we?
Why isn't Wes Streeting doing things about that, basically? I got an email yesterday.
What about Breaking Bad?
Amongst other cancers. Well, no, listen, we can go off on two tangents here. Which one do you want, right? One of them.
Pick a fucking tangent.
I've got
money in the swear jar.
In amongst my many cancers, I've also got leukemia, which I still deal with. I get emails from a leukemia charity offering to go to a conference or whatever that they're organising or a seminar. And at the bottom, it is sponsored by 5 drug companies.
Yes.
And they do make a clear point of saying they're just giving us money. They're not editorialising us or anything like that. And you go, yeah, well, they don't need to, do they? Because the cure that I've been given for leukemia nowadays is not a period of concentrated treatment of chemotherapy. It's a long-term chemotherapy drug that costs thousands of pounds a month, and I will be on forever. The drug companies love that. There's no drug company in the country that wants to come up with a single pill that cures ADHD or leukemia or anything. They're very, very happy to have a monthly subscription from the NHS for all of the pills that we're using, basically. And they're also quite happy that the side effects they cause mean I have to take more pills. Because who makes the pills? It's like, I'm becoming very anti-farmer at the moment.
I'm not surprised.
Well, it don't work, does it? I've pumped myself with all the chemicals they offered this year, and it's done fuck all. So.
Yeah. Chris says, I really struggle to motivate myself and I don't deal with praise very well. I'm always waiting for but you could do better. Yeah, Chris, I completely appreciate that. Sarah says, I have borderline personality disorder and struggling with changes. Like if a doctor is seeing mental health, seeing at the mental health hospital leaves, or having to get myself geared up to move when I find a flat. Yeah. And this is the thing, if your mental health is really contingent on you being in the same place or, dealing with the same people, and then that suddenly changed. Some people thrive off change, but others, they need that routine. And there is the way that, we were talking about doctors last week and about when you're a kid, the doctor will come around and see you. Well, also, when I went to doctors, I'd always see the same doctor when I was a kid. Now I go to the doctors every fucking time. It's a different doctor who I haven't seen before. And I'm like, oh, hello. It's not that I go to the doctors that often, but I never seem to get the same one twice.
Can I cause some more swearing? Because I'm probably
go
about to say something very Farage-ish.
Go on. Go on.
All right. Look, I'm going to try and be careful with this, but this is a serious point. I am pro-immigration. I am somebody that thinks that we should have a fair and equal immigration system. I think the NHS without immigration would be an absolute nightmare, basically. Most of the people, I'd say 50% of the people that are treating me in one way or another are immigrants or sons and daughters of immigrants, right? We know all of that. That's my politics. That's where I stand. I can tell you now, I had a GP this week who was lovely and very caring, but I was almost in cat's position with him. If I wasn't staring him in the face and watching his lips, I couldn't actually tell what he was saying, because he was Nigerian and he had a very strong accent. And I've just read the letter that he sent to my doctor.
This is a swear jar, not a racism jar, I'm afraid. Sorry, that's
I'm not being racist. I'm not being racist. Okay, I'm not even going to use the but phrase. What I'm going to say is that I sat there. I do this all the time. I crack jokes to make doctors feel more at ease in the situation when they're telling me they're about to die. I'm about to die, right? I'm not opposed to him. He was a fucking awesome doctor, and he's definitely making the system work for me. What I'm saying is, in a situation where I needed a lot of scientific medical information and emotional support, having a language barrier of any description is awkward, right? And I can understand my mum turning up at a GP's where she's been used to the same doctor for years and years and years and years, just struggling to understand what's being said to her.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what do you do about that? Because I don't want to come across as a racist. I don't think I'm a racist. Graham, tell me I'm not. I'm not. I'm sure I'm not.
Pretty sure you're not a racist.
But just genuinely, if I sat there as an Englishman and just said, blah, 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 cancer, I would definitely ask you to repeat that sentence. Right. And I just couldn't understand him unless he was looking me in the face. And then he's written a letter to my doctor that honestly should have gone through ChatGPT to check the English and grammar, basically, because I don't know what he's trying to say to the doctor. It doesn't make any sense, right? And you can't blame handwriting in that situation because it was dictated.
Yeah.
So I can understand. Right? If I wanted to become a right-wing politician for the last 2 years of my life, basically, I would start digging into things like that, and I'd start working out how you deal with it, right? That's the difference between a left and a right-wing person, is like, okay, how do we fix this? How do we make this better? I'm not saying I want white English public school doctors. I'm saying, how do we help these doctors to be able to communicate better, basically, with all patients? And that goes the same for somebody who doesn't speak English fully and walks into a doctor's surgery and a white English doctor is talking to them, basically. It's the same problem.
Yeah.
But genuinely, Farage would say, I hate it when I start thinking like him, basically. But Farage would say, well, if you can get a Bangladeshi speaker in the room with a doctor, basically, to help you understand what's going on medically, then maybe I need a bit of help here, basically, because it's incredibly complex medical information and big decisions that you're being asked to make. And if you're not understanding what's being said to you, where do you stand?
Yeah.
I understand
that.
You just politely sit there and say, thank you very much, and walk out the door going, I don't know what's happening next, basically. I've got no idea.
And then you feel like if you bring it up, you're going to be seen as one of them.
So you bring it up on a YouTube channel.
Farrages,
where,
a farragist. Yeah.
Well, I don't. All I'm saying is I can understand how they manage to pick things that resonate, and this is what Wes is doing today, right? He's picking on people that essentially other people who don't regard themselves as having any form of mental health issues or neurospiciness, who regard themselves as normal, are quite happy to sit there and say, oh, everyone's got ADHD, they're bloody shirkers, basically. Or, we had kids with autism, we called them X or Y. And Streeting is just leaning into those people. And he'll pick another minority next, and he'll pick another one next, and he'll pick another one next, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's taking Labour down that route, and Labour can't do the race. I think I've just been the most racist left winger on a YouTube channel so far.
The fact that he has already framed this report that's not going to come out till this study that's not going to come out till next summer, but he's framed it already as an overdiagnosis of ADHD, autism, and mental health diagnoses.
Yeah.
And over pathologized feelings. That's what he's already said. He's already said this. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, so this isn't to help us out,
brief.
Is it? Yeah.
That's the brief for the psychiatrist that starts on Thursday. It hasn't even started this.
Yeah. Find out, give me all the information so I can say that too many people are being diagnosed with this thing. And he's saying, well, people are being diagnosed for stuff that is just normal. And I'm like, well, this... I'm sorry for being a statistical inconvenience, but I do need a bit of help. And I feel like so many people who are dead rich and dead privileged and go to posh schools and all that shit that we always complain about, they get all the help they fucking want.
Yep.
If you're really rich, right, you can have a drug addiction and you get help because you can afford it. Your parents can afford to put you in the priory. Alcohol, same. If you're rich and you're trans, you can afford to get on the medication. You can afford to get the gender affirming care that you should be able to get on the NHS, but your parents can fly you to Switzerland and you can go and get it if you're rich. Two-tier system.
Yep.
For everything, law, medicine, education. And I don't know, I saw a thing yesterday about Holly Willoughby, privately educated, of course, going, she hit someone on a moped because she wasn't paying attention. And she got 6 points on her license. Fucking guy broke his neck. Broke his neck, Mike. Imagine if you're just walking down the street and you broke someone's neck. And they were like, oh, we'll put six points on your walking license. Oh, does that mean I can't walk down the street anymore? Oh, yeah, you can do that. If you get another 6 points, you can't. And then there was another guy who I read a story about on the BBC where a woman was talking about people taking speeding seriously. And he was doing 86 on a country lane or something. And he managed to kill 2 people with the car. And he got like 16 years. And I'm like, so if those people had survived, he would have just got 6 months on his 6 points. Sorry, not 6 months, 6 points on his license. Is that the way it works? Yeah. Like,
I mean, the laws around the most deadly weapons we all own are ridiculous, aren't they?
If you kill someone with a car,
George only,
you should do all right. Yes, I've asked for an autism assessment, but I worry because of my age, 63, and they might try and suggest that many of my traits are more about age-related cognitive decline. What do you guys think? If you can get an assessment, get the assessment.
Can we just very quickly say neither of us are doctors or psychiatrists, basically? Yes. But I would absolutely suggest that it isn't. 63 is not at all that old, basically. So
no.
And if you've been going through issues for most of your life, then go and try and get it. But you're going to have to push and you're going to have to make the system work for you. That's the thing. You've got to talk to the right people to get these things done.
Yeah.
So yeah, go for it.
One of the best things that's happened to me recently is getting that diagnosis for ADHD because it made it make sense. Up to that point, I just thought I was fucking useless. There was a lot of self-loathing going on because it's like, why am I like this? Why can't, cats are moaning at me because I can't remember where the fucking mixing bowl goes. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, why would I remember that? Like, why would I keep that information in my head? My mate's getting pissed off because I don't know where they work. And I'm like, why would I want to know that? I don't know what they do for a living. I'm sorry. It's
like, I was trying to describe it to somebody the other day.
Just a bad friend.
essentially, it's like we're aliens that have been sent to infiltrate humanity
Yeah.
for an anthropological study. And we are constantly worried we're going to get found out that we're not actually humans because we try really hard to behave like the rest of the humans. Really hard. Like it's a massive effort to behave
That's a
like
good
them
way
and
of putting
fit
it.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're
And they make it look
constantly
so
like
easy.
we're like Spock with the pointy ears and a wig, and at some point in time, we know that wig's going to come off, and they're going to go. And I'm not saying we're special. We could be from the dumbest planet in the universe that's come to study humanity. I don't know, but it's definitely like an anthropological survey that you're doing all the time with other humans. It's just going, okay, they behave like this. Maybe I'll try doing that. See if I can do that. Maybe
Yeah.
I've fallen in love with this human, so I'll just become the human they want me to be. I can do that. I can pretend to be that human, no problem, basically. And then you kind of go, it's a constant strain, you know. I was talking about, you go to, people think, I'm sure this is the same for you, think you're the life and soul of a party.
No one ever says that about me. God, I'm just a
Yeah,
wallflower.
yeah, they do. Right, but the point is, everybody remembers me at a party, after a party, etc. I don't remember anybody, and
Same
also
here.
now I don't drink. I absolutely know when I've got to my limit of pretending to be a human. I just leave. I just go. I'm definitely gonna get found out if I stay here for another
Yeah.
half an hour. So I'm off.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah. But that's it, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I'm not. But I used to beat myself up so much about the
Yeah.
things, the traits of myself that were just like not like
Yeah.
other people. And I know now
Yeah.
why I do them, and it gives me the opportunity to sort of take a step back and go, okay, I'm not doing this just because I'm a tit. I'm doing this because that's the way my brain chemistry works. So, in order to get the correct cheat code that I need to put in to get these things done, I need to do X and Y. And since I've done that, I've been so much more productive. Charlie Nelson, thank you very much, Charlie, for the £5 super chat. Good to have you on the channel, mate. I was lucky to get my ASD assessment on the NHS. Most people go private because the waits are so long. Yeah, the waits are already insanely long. What Streeting should be doing is looking at ways to bring down that waiting list.
Yeah. What's ASD? Sorry, I don't.
I think it's autism.
Is it? Okay.
Well
done, Charlie. Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told you the story, I'm sure, before, basically, but I got my ADHD diagnosis entirely by accident. I was supposed to go in for a COVID jab. I turned up at the GP practice to get my COVID jab, and I should have been in an Asda car park somewhere, apparently. Yeah. And the receptionist said, "Don't worry, you won't make it in time. I'll organise you another appointment." And she taps away on the computer, and I get a text message as I walk out the GP saying, "You've been asked to take part in an ADHD test."
Yeah.
I imagine COVID test and ADHD test were A, B, C on a list, and she hit the wrong button, basically. Yeah. So I did it just for giggles, and then got diagnosed.
And giggles. ASD is autism
but
spectrum
I
disorder. Sorry.
I totally don't.
Charlie just said it.
Don't
Charlie.
think. I totally don't think I'd have got this. I'd have had this diagnosis. I wouldn't have gone out and sought this diagnosis. So it is totally random, and it's been incredibly useful. So
well,
I can't give anyone advice on how to do it, except maybe walk in and look a bit confused in the surgery or something.
If you had asked me 15 years ago to go for a test for ADHD, I would have said no. I would have gone, no, I'm going for it. And I actually wrote in my blog on the Odyssey Expedition about how, in school, I was always climbing up the walls. But nowadays I would be given some initials and, told that I was, I had this thing. And I was quite dismissive of it. I was quite dismissive of the idea of it. But my attitude towards mental health has changed over the years because of friends who have suffered with depression, borderline personality disorder, ADHD, autism. And it's made me realize that there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not a stigma. It's just our brains are different. And depending on how your brain works, you might be fucking brilliant at one thing and fucking shit at another. But it's not to say you're a bad person because you're not particularly good at remembering which cupboard the pot's going.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking to my mother about this the other day, that I was held back a year at school when I was about 8. and it was largely for behavioural problems. It wasn't. I was getting good grades.
Yeah.
It was just I was causing trouble, and they kept me down a year for that. And I genuinely think, I mean, in those days, that's what you did. I don't blame my mother in any way, shape, or form, but I rang her to check that I was right about that, and I was. So, which then explains my entire fucking school life, basically, because I was so bored. I was so bored in lessons because I was literally behind everybody else of my peer group, basically. But I was advanced for the class that I was in, so it was just boring and pointless. I have no. I mean, this is about this is a feature of ADHD that you have a heightened sense of injustice and justice, and what that manifests itself in my life as a rule is that I don't have a respect for authority unless it's earned. All right. So if somebody says, I am your teacher, I'm in charge, I'm like, prove it. Teach me something. All right. If somebody says, I'm your boss, I'm in charge of you, I go, well, look, yeah, on paper, you can sack me. That makes you more powerful than me, but it doesn't make you better.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. And you're going to have to prove yourself to me, basically, in order for me to accept authority from you. Now, that's caused me problems for the whole of my life, but also sets you up entirely to be a political cartoonist.
Yes.
Because I have absolutely no respect for any of these people that claim to be in charge of us, basically. Hence, why you and me can sit here and happily have a go at Wes Streeting, a Labour National Health Service Secretary, who's failing us because he's not earning the respect. Yeah, he's not.
Some money in
swear jar.
Swear jar.
He's literally not earning our respect.
No, he's not.
His
bedside manner leaves a lot to be desired. He comes across very supercilious, kind of. He comes across as quite entitled. I know he's not one of the private school lot, but he does.
All right, this is.
Oh, go on. What have you got there?
I'm not doing a book plug, right? But this is Wes Streeting's first. It says in there.
One boy. What's it called? One boy, two bills.
Two bills and a fry up, right? And also, look, it's a signed copy.
Why did you get it signed by Wes?
I won it in a raffle. I mean, this is a problem with not drinking.
That looked like Wes Starlin. Did you get Wes Starlin? Is that Stalin's nephew?
I go to a Labour Party Christmas drinks thing, basically. There's a table full of prizes in the raffle. Yeah. And you lost. I've given up drinking. I gave up drinking. There's a bottle of House of Commons whiskey, a bottle of House of Commons wine, basically. Yeah. And a fucking box of chocolates and a Wes Streeting biography. So pretty much the only thing I could choose was that. Anyway, the point is, at the beginning of that, he talks about his negligent father, all right? And he talks about him authoritatively before he was born, all right? It's a really well-written book, this. He's describing how his dad was feeling and reacting to things 10 days before Wes was born. So I don't know how that happened. But also, what I'm reading here, right, is he has a disdain for his father who literally left him on with a single mother situation, a love for his grandfather who stepped up and picked up, basically.
Yeah.
But absolutely no analysis of what was wrong with his dad. Nothing. It's literally that he was just a bad human being, basically, who couldn't face up to his responsibilities. And you think, oh, isn't that funny that you're going for people that are neurospicy at the moment and you won't acknowledge the fact that your dad obviously had problems and you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You don't give a fuck, basically.
Yeah. We've got some breaking news. Netherlands, Spain and Ireland are going to boycott Eurovision after Israel's been allowed to continue to compete after trying to cheat the last couple of Eurovisions. So the Russians have got their way. Eurovision's falling apart. Spooky Thang 95. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. As a parent of a 24-year-old autistic son, I'm starting to feel that in voting Labour, I voted to harm my child along with my trans friends. I'm fuming. Yeah. I can see exactly why you're feeling that. We've got some interesting comments in the chat here. Ernie saying the thing we have to remember is that normal is the weirdest thing you can try to be. Which I quite like. Yeah. And Liz says, I was diagnosed autistic ADHD at 50. Getting diagnosed is standing up for yourself. More people like us need to come out the woodwork. Yeah, because the more it's like, there were more people coming out as gay in the 80s and 90s and then the 2000s because it was just more, as it became more acceptable, as it became just a normal thing in everyday life, like being left-handed. I'm sorry to all the left-handed people out there because I use you as an example all the fucking time. But my sister went to school at a time where if you tried to write with your left hand, they would force you to write with your right. And that
Work
was
of the
only
devil.
what, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And they would beat children. They would beat children with a cane if they dared to write with their left hand. And that's the world that Farage and Tice and all those privileged little twats want to go back to. Not for themselves, not for their own children, but for everybody else's. One Angry Picker says, wasn't until I saw a shrink about 6-7 years ago. 6-7. I found out a lot of my anger management problems were actually symptoms of me being autistic. Really wish this had been recognised when I was a kid.
Yes.
Yeah. I listen. One Angry Picker. I know someone who's got anger management problems, and I think that it stems from them being autistic. I really do. I think that is so connected.
Is it somebody we both know? Because
No.
I've got a theory on certain Brighton resident on that front.
Yes, fair enough. I can see that.
This is
don't say nothing.
It's another characteristic that is an ADHD characteristic, which is feeling emotional intensity and a heightened sense of emphatic emotional feeling as well, so that you feel other people's pains, and when you do get rejected for anything, when the things that you think might happen, etc., the emotional intensity of those means that, again, you do have anger management issues if you can't keep a grip on it. And somebody was talking earlier about the fact that they need, I can't remember who it was, but that if a doctor changes or if their system or routine changes, weirdly, people think that people with ADHD don't have routines and OCD type behaviors, but we do, because we absolutely, over the years before diagnosis, we created our own scaffolding and our own masks to protect ourselves from the fear, the absolute petrifying fear of making a small decision. All right. So one of the things that I don't know if I talked to you about this privately the other day, basically, that you and I wear uniforms.
Yes.
Right. We pretty much wear the same clothes
like the
most of the time.
We like the waistcoat look.
Right. And I have friends who take the piss out of that all the time, right? And because I have 5 sets of this outfit, basically, so I've always got the same clean clothes available to me. But the fact is that once I decided to do that years ago, it literally got rid of the panic I used to feel in the morning about what to wear. It just disappeared, because I just went, I know what I'm wearing. I know what I'm wearing tomorrow. And I know what I'm wearing next Thursday as well, basically, because it's not a decision I have to make anymore. I just don't have to make that decision. And that's called scaffolding. It's a way that you create a system for yourself that may be slightly irrational, but it protects you from that terrible process of making a decision.
I just do it so people recognize me. That's the only reason.
It's got a dual, it has a dual effect. I've also drawn cartoons of myself wearing this outfit, and I'd have to go back and redraw them all if I choose to wear a jumper.
Exactly. Well, it's just that the hat comes in handy, not in the middle of winter in Durham, but when I'm traveling, like in a hot country. Otherwise, I just burn. So it has a practical value beyond.
There's a question as to whether you did it for recognition or you did it for the easy decision making, and the recognition came as a result of that, basically.
The hat.
I don't know.
My Australian girlfriend absolutely hated me wearing this hat because it was the sort of hat that only bogans would wear in Australia. That's the Australian term for shavs or scallies. And and then in this, because Kat's always known me sort of as an adult wearing this hat. She'll see me on YouTube, on Facebook wearing this hat. She's got used to it. Whereas if I wear my hat for going out in the winter here, which is on those fairy ones with the fairy ear flaps, she hates it. She thinks I look like an idiot in it, and I love it. It keeps me ears nice and warm. So I don't get much hat love in my life. Need more hat love. I don't care.
I just got a new hat because it's very cold.
Oh, go on. Is it a Santa hat? Because Mike is our sexy Santa. It is a Santa hat.
The black Santa hat. Though.
Black Santa. Love it.
Black Santa stretch beanie.
Spooky Thang says, Mike Dix, you always look very sophisticated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with ADHD. We can't take compliments. So
Simon says, Graham wears a hat to cover his gingerness. No, I used to love my long ginger hair back when I had it. It's not very ginger anymore.
Being
Diz.
ginger's nothing to be ashamed of anymore, Graham.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be a terrible affliction, but now look at you. Look at you.
I know. It's imagine if the government suddenly said there's too many gingers. We've got to look into this. Let's commission a report to find out
What was
about these
that?
ginger people.
What was that thing you shared about the Telegraph story that said a triumph for the guide movement over the trans people?
No,
basically?
it was a victory against trans. Girl
Victory
guides
against trans.
Yeah, girl guides ban trans girls in
Yeah,
victory
and like you,
against trans.
like you said in your post, if you just change that word for another minority, a victory against ADHD is a victory against blacks, a victory against Jews, a victory against gingers, basically.
Do you want to know how many people I
despicable.
blocked? Do you know how many people I
What
blocked?
the shush?
Woo! Hang on, we will come back to this in a moment. We have got ourselves not a super chat, not a mega chat, but a hyper chat. A hyper chat. Woo! That doesn't happen very often. Thank you so much to blah blah CW. Please share this with Mike. Mike, I'm sorry to hear your bad news, but keep on fighting. We're all pulling for you. Merry Christmas and enjoy your holiday. Oh, blah blah CW. Thank you so much. That is so kind.
Seek help. Seek mental help. You beautiful human being, basically.
Thank you.
Don't do things like that. You make me cry.
No, make him cry. Make Mike cry. And it's a Christmassy colour. Look, it's Christmas colours as well. It's because you're sexy Santa. You got your sexy Santa hat on. You know it's going to wreck your hair, though.
I said this on Friday, right? The people in this room looking after each other as we waffle on about shit, basically, are just adorable. You're just all adorable human beings, basically. If we could recreate politics, social, and the people that are involved in it as a general community, I think then we'd all live happier, better lives, basically.
Because people are empathetic here. They care about each other. And it's not like, well, I'm not trans, so I don't care about trans people. Well, I'm not gay, so I don't care. You know what I mean? People are more sort of understanding of the struggles that everyone's going through. And everyone is going through struggles. Everyone, you know? Yeah. I make this mistake at the moment. I am obviously self-absorbed at the moment and in an intense struggle with myself and my physical self. And I often ring people back after I've chatted to them for a couple of hours because I've done a lot of phone conversations recently. And I ring them back afterwards and say, hey, look, I'm really sorry. I need to know if you're going through something because, you know, I've just sat here thinking that you're fine and normal and you're just going to deal with me bleating about this. And I've just thought, you must be going through some shit, basically. Talk to me. Yeah.
Because, you know, we constantly think, it's like when somebody, I had this last week, I was in a waiting room and this woman was so upset. She got lung cancer, but she was so upset because somebody had a go at her for what he said was stealing her parking space, stealing his parking space. And I said to her, you were parking at the Macmillan Centre. That guy had to have cancer or be visiting somebody with cancer. Otherwise, I will go and scratch his car and let his tyres down if he's just parking there to go to the local pub or something, basically. But I said, you know, you're upset. I bet he's gone away upset as well. Yeah. I bet he has. There's something bothering that arsehole, basically, you know, and for him to behave like that, there has to be, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway. Blah, 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 CW. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. To which L just said, fuck, in capital letters. Thanks, L. Only a ginger can call another ginger, says Amy Walker. That's completely true.
True.
Don't call me Ginger. I saw Tim Minchin play that once with a 70-piece orchestra. It was fucking beautiful.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I love a bit of Tim Minchin. A little bit of Minch. Sarah says, I went for my gender surgery in London. I donated blood to help others. I shouldn't have donated 3 days before surgery, but I need to know I was giving someone else a chance. That's really, really kind of you, Sarah. And Anuska says, no, Mike, you're not self-absorbed. You're looking after the most important person, you. Which is true.
Well, again, ADHD. We don't believe that. That's not true. It's just not true for us. You know?
I just want to mention about.
Although sorry, I am digging in at the moment, and I know I've got to act selfishly at the moment, basically. And then I get annoyed about that because I'm thinking I'm capable of that. You know.
Yeah.
And there are some people in the system that are just not. And white middle class, middle aged man causing trouble for white middle class, middle aged people running the NHS. Not difficult, really not as difficult as somebody that struggles with their English to ask a doctor what they should be doing. Somebody that was brought up in a working class zone where you respect the doctor because they're free, basically.
I like people who give an honest assessment when they go to a restaurant. And I do as well.
They say,
if I'm asked,
when they interrupt a conversation and say, how is everything for you? And you think, actually, what I'd like to say is, it'd be great if you stop fucking interrupting, basically.
or where you've clearly just put a load of food in your mouth and they're like, is everything okay? And you're like, but yeah, no, because I often think that if a restaurant is good, but there was a problem, I will let them know. I'll let them know that there was an issue for the people that come after me, because I don't want them to shut down. And because what a lot of people do is they don't say anything, they just don't go back. So it's worse. It's actually in the restaurant's benefit for you to say something. So much so that if it's really, really bad, that's when I don't say anything. I just walk out. I just go out.
But then also,
they're going to try to help this one.
And this is what I think. It's why I don't think it should be ADHD. I think the D at the end, I'm working on a book called ADHD Me, but the D stands for disorder, and I don't see it as a disorder. Quite often it's a superpower, because in that situation, what neither of us would do is treat the waitress as if she owns the fucking restaurant, basically. Yes. As if she's got any agency over any of this other than feedback, basically. It's like, whereas we all know what a Farage would do in that situation is to sit there and treat them as if they were a corporate monster destroying their life. Instead of somebody working on minimum wage and tips,
Yeah. I think that they always say, don't you? You can take a lot from someone's character by how they treat the staff. And you've got someone like James Corden or Donald Trump or Boris Johnson, who obviously treat, the staff like shit. You can just tell. And then the people who actually make an effort. And you see, you chat with people and they'll say, oh, such and such came into my pub, but he was really nice. They came into my cafe. Oh, they were really lovely. And because we had a chat about something. And all it was for that celeb was 30 seconds of just being nice to someone. But then that story will just, it will find its own legs. People will say, oh, yeah, they're quite a nice person, they are. And why wouldn't you want that? And they always say, be careful you're able to on the way up, because you'll meet them again on the way back down.
I do, though. It's true. It is absolutely true.
But yeah,
one of the things I'm proudest of in life is that I used to do a lot of training courses and things when I worked in the media. And I always used to say at the end of the training session, I'd say, one of the reasons I do this is that in 20 years' time, I'll be freelancing and heading to retirement, and I will expect you to give me a ring and say, Mike, could you do me a doodle, basically, because I'll need the money. And the amount of people that still do it and ring me and say, hey, Mike, I need a little bit of a thing doing on this thing. Can you do it for me? And you think, yeah, that's why I did it. That's why I was nice to you, basically, back in the day. Can I just mention a comment from Spooky Thang 95?
Yeah.
They say, Mike Dix, if you don't look after yourself, how can you help others? It's a bit like putting the oxygen mask on everyone else in the aeroplane. Put yours on first, in other words.
Yeah.
Basically. You're quite right. You're quite right.
Yeah. That is very true. But I just wanted to mention we were talking about the vitriol against trans people, and I did the show about it this morning on Morning Brew. I put a message up yesterday on my Facebook, and I normally get like 5 likes on my Facebook posts. So they're not very well trafficked, you know what I mean? They don't get much traffic, I should say, not a drug. And usually one of those people is my mum. This one, 187 fucking comments, right? I spent about an hour and a half, 90 minutes this afternoon, just blocking people, just going down, pressing on the 3 fucking dots next to the name, block, 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 block. And it was all just transphobes. It just came out. Who aren't my friends. I'm not connected to them. Yeah. They just came out of nowhere.
A lot of them would be bots as well.
Yeah. And how weird do you want to be? Bots. How weird do you want to be that you're that obsessed with trans people that you go on somebody else's wall, someone that you don't follow, someone that you don't... I don't even know how they saw it. It must have been shared on one of these forums, whatever. oh, God, this guy's
Well,
put something positive about trans
no,
people on
it's
here.
not. It's not anything. No, it comes up in their algorithm because
Does it?
Facebook Facebook is an addictive drug, designed to be an addictive drug, and essentially the most addictive thing is fear and anger. Basically, it's much easier, and people like cute puppies and cats. So those are the emotions they constantly feed to people. And if that person has commented on, posted, retweeted, and liked stuff that is anti-trans, then yours will be put into their algorithm to spark that rage because they want comments. Facebook just want comments. They don't care what they say.
Yeah.
I mean, because the Trumpton account has got a reasonable chunk of followers, particularly on Twitter. But it does the same thing. My only rule for the last 3 years has been don't respond to any of the comments. Don't do anything about any of the comments.
Yeah.
Don't block them because they treat that as a badge of honor. Mute is a good option on Twitter all the time. Just mute them because then they're just raging into the darkness all the time. And the only time I ever go in and respond is when I fancy a fight.
Yeah.
I just go in and say the most abusive things I possibly can to them as if I can out-abuse them.
Which is, and I get that. I absolutely get that. I mean, I don't use Twitter anymore now. But when I did, I'd get really agitated by people writing horrible things, and it would bother me. And then it got to a point where I was just like, fuck them. Life's too short. Can't be arsed with this. But 187 comments. 35 shares. That must have been where people were picking it up.
Sorry, Miss Paula Thomas, £2. Graham, I suspect they were mostly bots.
Thank you. Yes.
You might be right.
Yeah. Some of them didn't have a photograph even. Loads of them just looked really weird. Just like an AI name that had been made up.
Right. And if you analyze your feelings about it, right? Because I think it's important in terms of the addictive quality of social media, is that the biggest problem with that is that, as you said, you normally don't get much interaction on your posts on Facebook, and this one got over 200, right, or 170. If you really analyze your feelings about that, there is a part of you that must sit there going, wow, 170 responses, basically, right? And if you just think about the process, excuse me, the process that right-wingers go through is that, think about somebody like Musk or Lawrence Fox. They want to be liked and funny and witty and whatever. That's how they started out using social media. And then they rapidly realize that they're just none of those things. Their personality doesn't exist in that space on those platforms or at all. But they do get lots of likes and shares for the Nazi things they say, for the mean things that they say.
Yeah.
So there's a feedback loop. It would be easy for you to lean in if you just wanted the clicks to go, okay, I'm going to talk about trans every day in a positive way, but you would still get 200-300 likes a day. And then Facebook would send you a message saying your traffic is up by 10,000%. Have you considered taking a professional account? You can get advertising around this, etc. So the algorithm feeds itself, feeds you and feeds on your emotions one way or the other. Yeah. And that's how we end up with social media doing what it does, basically. It's like, which is why the chat in this room is always just so beautiful, because there's no algorithm forcing anyone to write things in there. And if anyone said anything disparaging, they would be piled on by a bunch of nice people that would just say, hey dude, are you okay? Basically.
I feel like if we could just have a few more regular viewers who are also just as nice as our normal regulars, that would be great for me, because it would help me dig myself out the hole that I found myself in.
Everybody in the chat and who follows the channel, if you've got a friend, I know you probably don't do this often enough, you keep thinking about it basically, but just send a link to the channel to one of your friends that you know thinks a bit like you, and just say, look, try this. Because these are my mates, because we are your mates. We're genuinely here. You help us just as much as if we're doing anything for you. Then, let's just get some more good people into this group. And because I see this more as a chat room than a channel, basically.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it as well, because it doesn't feel... I know I've got a little bit of production at the beginning and end and stuff, and my little animations, but generally speaking, it just feels like I'm having a chat with you on Zoom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or on Discord. And you can join the Discord server as well, by the way. I said this morning. In the run up to Christmas, look, even if you're not a member of the channel, if you become a member of the channel, you get automatic access. But if you're not a member of the channel, you're struggling financially or whatever, just go to grahamdavidhughes.com, send me a message there, I'll come to my email, and I'll sort it out so you can get access to the Politics Social Discord server and continue the conversation with the same people that are in the chat here. Sorry, here. The same people who are in the chat. Sarah says, Graham, I changed my Facebook picture to protect myself from picture being used by TERFs like Posey Parker. She used one of my friend's image on her hate videos. Oh, God, that's so grim. I'm sorry, Sarah, that happened to you. But yeah, these bots that are putting horrible transphobic slurs on my Facebook, and they're clearly not real people. You know, they've got no photos, memories, anything. You know,
No.
There's one that came up that's quite funny. You know, it's got like a little heart and it tells you your status, and it's usually like single or married. It just said divorced, and I was like, no fucking wonder, mate. Oh, I also report them. I don't just block them. I say they're a fake profile every time. So some AI's got to go and look at it and say, you don't look like a real person. Why aren't you acting like a normal person?
When we do things like that, we're doing work for Meta that they should be paying somebody to do, basically. I get it, right? Totally. But it's an investment of your time, and it's a process that they also make slightly complicated and difficult for each one that you do it to. And then you get a disappointment that they reappear 2 weeks later anyway, because it was adjudicated that they weren't being offensive, basically.
But you still block them at that point, so I don't care. I just try and get as many accounts blocked as possible.
Totally.
From these
at least cause them some trouble.
Diz says, we are the mods. Don't test, don't taunt or rattle the cage. Spanner time will happen with rage. So if you've got a spanner after your name, it means you're a mod and you can get rid of people. There were a couple of trolls this morning, actually, on Morning Brew. No surprise, because we were talking about trans issues. And our wonderful mods got rid of them. Quick, smart, because I can't be bothered with them, Mike. I'm not here to bloody debate with knobheads.
But you're right.
Anonymous knobheads on the internet.
Why do they seek it out? Why are they so driven to seek it out and put their poxy opinion across, basically? It's not like we don't do this to the right. If AIDS videos, is right-wing watch. I absolutely love those videos. He's really on a roller coaster there. It's lovely. And they're so well produced and everything else and researched. All right. But what he doesn't do is pile onto, I think he does occasionally, but he doesn't pile onto their Twitter account going, I'm going to rage debate with you now, basically. Yeah. He does something much smarter and more creative, which is just expose them.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, this is what people do. Tan does it all the time with people that comment under her post, basically, and just says, well, I'm just going to repost that with your, the sexist rape threat that you just threw at me in my DMs, basically. You just expose them. But what we don't do is go seeking these people to go and argue with, because I've got better things to do with my time, basically. I'm not going to go looking for their accounts. It's like Pranay posted something in the WhatsApp group this morning that sent me off to go and watch some knob talking about champagne, and I went, "You've just fucked my algorithm." I carefully curate my Instagram, and now I'm going to get posh knobs talking about champagne for a week. Basically,
I don't really use Instagram. All I get is like the adverts to go to Instagram that are in Facebook. Right? It's Karen Gillan. It's just Karen Gillan in going to it's just a little shot of her at a premiere or something. I'm like, I must have, like years ago, I must have gone on Instagram. Something. The only thing I was looking up was Karen Gillan because she was in the new Avengers movie or something. I'm like, that's it now for life.
It's the other side.
Lumping the gingers together.
I did, yeah. He must be interested in Karen Gillan because
she's a ginge. They're
nobody
right,
else is.
They're actually right. By the way, I have put Aid's YouTube address into the chat there. So you click on that, you can subscribe to his channel if you don't watch his stuff. He's very funny.
And this is nothing to do with the fact that he was the first super chat today, basically. But he's very funny and he's on a roll at the moment. And I honestly don't know, because I don't think Ada's got ADHD. I don't know about you. I don't think so. And he's got other problems, basically. But like, I can list them. I've printed a list of all of Ade's other problems. But I don't think ADHD is one of the things that he's dealing with. But he holds down a full-time job and is a full-time father, and he manages to make all of those videos.
I don't know
And
how he
really
edits
don't
them.
know.
I don't know how he gets the time to edit them.
Don't know how he gets the time. I really don't. It's amazing.
Better at time management, I guess. That's one of the issues,
Yeah.
the ADHD. But so before we go, because we have rambled on now for an hour, what would you do in this particular situation? You're Wes Streeting and you're sitting there and you look at the bill for all the people who are getting diagnosed with ADHD and then asking for a new chair. And then you're saying, oh, I don't think we should get chairs for these people with ADHD. What would you do?
Well, for a start, I'd go and talk to the pensions and welfare minister, because it's their responsibility. It's their impact, basically. I suppose what he's doing is trying to defend the NHS from the fact that they're doing all the diagnosis. But certainly, I wouldn't announce that, as you said, I wouldn't announce that I was seeking to bring down the bill.
Yeah.
And stop these people being diagnosed. I wouldn't say things like, he's quoted in the Times article as saying, when I speak to clinicians, that they are concerned about the number of ADHD diagnoses. And you go, Wes, who do you think's fucking doing the ADHD diagnosis, and why? Have you asked them why?
Yeah.
Because in my experience, my GP practice signed up to do it because they were aware that so many people were coming in with other symptoms, but actually they'd got ADHD or autism, and that was making their problems worse.
Yeah.
It was making their anxiety about their problems worse. It was
Yes.
causing hypochondria in some patients. It was et cetera, et cetera. So by diagnosing it, it actually helps them enormously. It actually saves some money within the GP practice because they're actually spotting things that are real in people. And that's what he should be doing. And he should be coordinating with social services, the police, the education minister, et cetera, to work out how we create a system that can work better for people that are diagnosed with ADHD. And then, if you want, join us on a campaign to make ADHD not a disorder, not a disability, not something that is a problem. Let's restructure society and government and our systems so that people that have our problems are not excluded by the system.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking to my brother. I'll try and bring up this analogy for you, and it's pretty gory, right? I'll tell it to you in a way that will make you feel it, I think. When I get a brown envelope from the government or what looks like a bill or a credit card statement or something, right?
Yeah.
I have an absolute fear of opening it.
So, me too. I do that.
Right. And then when you describe that to somebody, when you say to somebody that doesn't have a neurospicy problem, they will say, well, come on, you're just shy of admin. You hate admin, basically. You're a lazy git, whatever. You just don't want to deal with the paperwork. And you go, no, let me try and explain this. It's essentially that I look at that as if it's a wooden box that's just been delivered by the postman. And the postman says to me, it is highly possible one of your children is dead in that box. And if you open the box, you'll know for sure.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And what you do is you go, it's like Schrodinger. It's Schrodinger's bill, Schrodinger's admin, basically. You go, if I don't open it, I won't know that there's a problem. But then what you do in your head is you go, oh, fuck, my child's dead in that envelope, basically. What am I going to think of all the implications of that, basically? And what I've learned is, well, it's never going to be as bad as that. It's just never going to be as bad as that. It might be you have a tax bill you didn't know about or something, basically, but that's dealable with. It is dealable with eventually. So open the damn box. You don't have to read it. Just get over the hurdle of opening the box. You don't have to look in it straight away. You can do that a bit later, basically. But get over the first hurdle and then the next hurdle and then the next hurdle and do it step by step. But it's about explaining that, make the world work a little bit better for us.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
We're incredibly creative,
reasonable
clever people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not an excuse. It's not that I don't want to do admin. I don't want to do tax, et cetera, right? I do. I really want to be good at that stuff. But the problem is, it's just not a system designed for me. It's a system designed for people that love spreadsheets and keeping on top of things and putting diary dates down to do all these important things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow, we need to get all the ADHD brains in a room to devise a system that works better for us.
Yes,
basically.
I agree. Kirsty makes a good point. I think 2012 was a high point. That was the year things started going downhill. Danny Boyle is to blame. His love letter to everything good, they decided to kill it at that point. I think you're right, because I saw an interview with Liz Truss, and she said that was the opening ceremony for the Olympics was awful. She said it was the worst thing she'd ever seen.
Her.
This is the same woman who thinks that the most depressing thing in the world isn't the fact that children are dying of hunger in a world that whether we have an overabundance of food. No, it's seeing a field full of solar panels.
Nurses.
Yeah.
Well, Danny Boyle's got a lot to answer for. That's true.
Well, he got me hooked on heroin for a few years. So, you bastard.
Yeah.
It just looks so much fun.
And the accents are great.
Climbing into the toilet. The accent that you get when you're on drugs is Scottish.
Yeah.
Before we go,
there's a lot of people saying, brown envelopes cause instant panic. That's right. And trying to explain that to people.
Yeah.
Try and find those analogies to explain it to people. One of the things that ADHD people are very good at is telling a story. That's why we do what we do. And it's about telling a story that triggers the same emotion that you're feeling.
Yeah.
All right. So because we feel this intensity of emotion, we can find a way to tell that to somebody very personally to them that says, it's like this. This is what it's like, isn't it? How do you feel right now? No, I've just made you feel that way. Sometimes that's detrimental. I use it in arguments sometimes where I pick on something that I know is going to make somebody feel hurt, rejected, and useless because that's how they've just made me feel. And it turns out they weren't trying to do that to me, basically.
You bastard. How could you? Before we go, Mike, we have the small matter of the cunt of the week. Cunt of the week. Cunt
Wayne.
of the week.
It's Wayne. Is it Wayne?
Is it Wayne? No, Wayne hasn't done anything cunty this week. I don't.
He still exists. Well, he exists.
We have as options. We've got Trump, obviously, because it's Trump. We also have Nigel Farage, who's more people have come out to say that he racially abused them at school, or they witnessed him racially abusing other pupils at school, so he hasn't apologized.
Russia,
and his Russian connections. But also, it came out today that this donor, this Tory refuck donor, made his money in cryptocurrency. But his name's Christopher Harborn. He's based in Thailand because he's probably a nonce. And he's given refuck £9 million, the biggest ever donation in political history in this country.
Good.
The other parties in the same period made 26 million between them, all in all. And so he bankrolled Brexit. He also bankrolled refuck in its infancy. And with British voters allowing their future to be sold off to vested interests who don't even fucking live here.
What are they going to use the £9 million for?
Evil.
What are they going to do with it, basically?
Yeah.
I mean, a big chunk of it will go on social media, I guess.
Yeah.
The Alex made a really good video, Politics X, today about Farage and Russian money in general in British politics and the Tory party and Nathan Gill and all of those connections. And today we had the outcome of the public inquiry into the Salisbury killings.
Yeah.
I'd put Johnson high up the list of cunt of the week, basically, because the revelation there is that the British government overlooked and underdealt with Russia, basically.
Yeah.
And then you look at, what's Keir Starmer done today? He's put sanctions on the KSB.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So Russia's spy agency can no longer come and buy houses in fucking London. Brilliant. That's
well done.
Awesome.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
You kind of hope that they wouldn't have been able to do that in the first place, basically. Yeah. It's like, but how do you put sanctions on a secret spy organizer? How do you know who's in it? Yeah. Oh, you do know who's in it. You could have done something about it before. Brilliant. Okay, but they threw a party last week for you. Oh, brilliant. Okay, right.
And Boris Johnson, famously, after a British citizen was killed by Russian agents at the behest of the Russian government on British soil, they killed a woman called Dawn Sturgis, and would have killed a lot more people actually if the neurotoxin Novichok wasn't found quickly enough. I mean, the emergency services, some people got really ill, Thankfully, no one else died. Boris Johnson responded to this by going to a meeting of NATO heads to decide what they were going to do. And they decided to expel a bunch of diplomats or something. It was fuck all. And then he went straight from that meeting with his secret documents to a sex and drugs party in Italy set up by an ex-KGB agent and his son, who is a press baron in the UK.
Yeah. Well, he's a trickle-down millionaire in Lord.
He's a lord now, isn't he? Lord Lebedev.
Yeah.
Lord
Lebedev of Siberia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just innate. Alex's video does a really good job of just, joining all the dots quite clearly as to how you buy the influence in British governments. I don't think the Labour Party is necessarily having it brought, but also it just demonstrates how cheap that can be.
Yeah.
Russian assets paying £1,795 to Theresa May's local campaign, which is about the maximum that you can donate to a local campaign within our system. And that's enough to get you a place at the dinner table with the Prime Minister, basically.
Absolutely.
It's so cheap.
But why aren't Labour doing something about it? The 9 million, why aren't they stopping that from happening ever again? It's from a crypto millionaire in another fucking country.
I agree with Phil on this. It's because people will go for the trade union money at the same time, basically.
You just put a cap on it. There's lots of trade unions. That Labour don't get 9 million from one particular trade union. And you just say the trade unions are based in the UK. If the person donating is not based in the UK, then fuck off.
Yeah, but look at the super PAC system in the States. I mean, I think in a way I think it would be far better to remove all external funding for political parties, fund them by the last election results from the taxpayer, because then we know that there's no corruption. The corruption goes.
It's like Manchester United winning all the time because they were the richest team.
Yeah. Darren on the Daily Blaze did a sort of throwback to when Ian Hislop and two private eye journalists went to the Commons to talk about the Privilege Committee. And it was it's one of those awesome clips from Parliament where Hislop was prepared, basically. And what he'd done was they'd done their research on everybody on the committee. So they sat there and said, well, there are questions about how you got a ticket to go and see Arsenal in the FA Cup recently, Mr. Costa, to a Tory MP that was sitting on the panel. He said, well, it's not about individuals, etc. Well, yeah, but it kind of is, isn't it? Who brought you that ticket and what did they get in return for it?
Yeah.
And it just goes down to that level.
Friendship.
£2,000 football ticket.
Friendship.
He said it was
maybe the real treasure was the friends we made on the way.
Yeah. the favours what we did them.
Okay, so who's going to be our cunt of the week? Is it going to be Wes Streeting? Is it going to be Johnson? Is it going to be Nigel Farage? Is it going to be Trump?
It's Wes Streeting for me.
Is it Wes Streeting? We're going to give Wes.
What does the chat say? I think
we've got a couple of votes for Boris Johnson, and then we've got someone pointed out that Trump is Ernie Burns says Trump is the cunt of the eon. Which is very
just
true.
a cunt every day, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, daily cunt. I don't know if anyone else is voting, so I'm going to go with Wes because he's on the front cover, isn't he, of this video? So here you go, Wes. I've made a little animation for you. Here you go. Just 10 seconds. Here you go. Cunt of the week. There you go. So that was Wes Streeting, the balloon-faced cunt. We don't like him. Anyway, I best put some of these coins in the swear jar for,
Yeah.
Right. I think we're going to wrap it up there in a minute. But before we do, because we got that phenomenal super chat from blah blah CW, we are going to have to release the confetti.
I think so.
So yes, here we go. Shit. I haven't set up the. Just keep them talking. Mike, say something quick.
So wouldn't it be nice if we had a little animation right now that would demonstrate how much we appreciate blah 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 CW's fantastic donation to Politics Social. And listen, I just want to say blah blah. The other day, people were donating money for me, and I really do appreciate that. Some of you brought books, which I would much prefer. There are still a few left. I would much prefer you brought a book because you get a book as a result of that. I'm not going to accept any of that money. Graham needs that money to keep this channel going, and so I'm giving it back. That's the way it should
no,
work.
I'm quite happy to give you half that money, mate.
No,
Don't worry about it.
no.
Do
I think
not-
that money
do not
stays in the system, and it keeps us doing smart
You can't
things.
stop me. I've got your bank details, mate. I can do what I want.
Yeah, well, I just think this is part of my therapy, guys. So this you tolerating me ranting occasionally about this and personalizing some of it is definitely helpful, and it will get worse over the next few weeks.
They don't
Although
just tolerate, they enjoy it. They enjoy
I had
showing
a little
this.
glimmer of hope today. I want to share this, Graham.
Yeah.
My doctor in Guildford, who I really do think is a special doctor, contacted my doctor in Brighton and said that she wasn't happy with the diagnosis and she wants me to go to Guildford to have a sigmoidoscopy there so that she can confirm. It doesn't give me hope that the tumour's not coming back. It really doesn't. It's a very, very slim chance that it's something else. But I do really give a shit about a doctor that goes the extra mile to do things like that. Basically.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Amazing.
So we're gonna release the confetti. So Simon Smith, here it comes. Dun dun dun, confetti! Woo! Yeah, it's all confetti stuff. Yay!
Well done, all of you.
Well,
bloody marvelous.
Done. You're all bloody awesome. I've never been married, and so I've never had proper confetti thrown in my face. But one day, maybe.
I've had it twice.
I know.
It's massively overrated because it turns out you have to be married afterwards.
Do you? Oh God, that sucks. Yeah, but here's the
we
question:
should do-
if you get divorced,
we
you have to
definitely
give back
have a
the toaster.
celebration where you. Well, it'd be a bugger if you had to give back the confetti. Imagine just sorting through it and going, "Hang on, I think this is the stuff you
This
threw."
is yours.
Graham.
This is yours.
Yeah.
No, I think that anyone who gets divorced should buy all their friends a dress. Everyone who came to the wedding should get a dress in the divorce. That should be part of the divorce settlement.
I think you're right. We were talking about in Politics Social the other day about the difference between certain cultures' weddings.
Yeah.
Both of my kids put themselves seriously into debt to do a wedding. And friends of mine recently, young friends of mine, have gone through the same process. The stag do's, the hen do's, the wedding, the dinner,
Wedding
the
shower,
hotels, all of that stuff. And I've been saying to all of them, look, as somebody that's gone through this twice, basically, I'm telling you now, it might be better to use that money for something else. Really. And I'm starting to wonder, why don't we charge people to go to our weddings? Why don't we charge them for the dinner? Why don't we just say to them, 25 quid a head? And yeah, you can bring as many guests as you want, but they're all paying 25 quid a head, basically. And it would also make the guest list a lot smaller all of a sudden. Yeah. And you wouldn't have to invite your racist uncle because he'd refuse to pay, basically.
Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat to get the confetti for Diz. Thank you very much, Viper Scott. Viper Scott. So how would you feel if in hospital, right, if you were stuck in hospital for a few days, instead of having to eat the fucking hospital food, you could, like, if you wanted to, you could get stuff from the restaurant, and there's a proper restaurant, and you could choose from a menu, and you paid for it yourself.
Yeah, well, you can. You can get delivery nowadays to your bed.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it should be in the hospital, so the hospital make the money.
Here's an ADHD. Yeah, you're right. But here's an ADHD thing: is that I should be researching surgeons and hospitals that won't give me infections, but I'm actually checking on whether you can get Deliveroo in hospital after you've had an operation. So
there you go. Yeah, it's stuff you need to know. Yeah, priorities.
Exactly.
Brett says, couldn't Graham go to a local college or uni and get someone to do the editing, offer an apprenticeship? Not really. I do too much stuff. Like, if you think about it, it's at least 2 hours a day. She's not more than that. And I couldn't make someone else do that for free. I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep with myself. No, that doesn't make any sense.
And that's because of your sense of injustice and empathy.
Oh, damn it.
and also it's the fact that delegation is a very difficult thing for ADHD people, basically, because there's a level of fear of rejection and criticism that means that you are a perfectionist. And therefore, you're not perfect, but you are a perfectionist. You genuinely constantly believe that you can make things better and better, and you put them out there, and then it's why you do a lot of live stuff, in my opinion. And it's why I create a cartoon and then just put it out without checking it and everything else, because it's like, essentially, it's easier to be judged on something you did really quick. You can say, all right, yeah, but I did it real quick.
Yeah.
Basically. Right?
Yes, that's true.
If I say to you, If I give you a month to edit a video about ADHD, it will drive you nuts.
That's very true.
And towards the end of the month, you'll go into a 24-hour panic and sit there and do it all yourself. And there's no way you could put an intern through that process.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, well, we're going to leave it at that because we're coming up to 7:30, Mike. We've yacked on for an hour and a half.
You said, can we talk tonight and just talk any old shit? And I went, yes, I want to do that.
We did it. But it's good because it kind of like, we want to talk about our ADHD diagnoses anyway and what it's like living with ADHD. And this fitted in with what's happening in the news because Wes Streeting says there's too many of us. And he wants to have a call. He wants to have a call of us.
He is a cunt. Also, very quickly, right? This might help wrap it up. I did a bit of research on why ADHD. You shouldn't take on people with ADHD in a political environment, right? So here's some of the reasons you shouldn't do it. That they have moral drive. Their strong sense of justice provides the unwavering moral basis and commitment to fight for unfair cuts. They have expertise. They can hyper-focus and allow them to rapidly become an expert on the budget, on the NHS, exposing a politician's every flaw and secret, which is why I got his book out today. Relatability. They have a heightened empathy and emotional intensity, and they can create compelling viral communications that humanize the issue and mobilize public support. And they will use unconventional tactics and creative thinking to get round you, you smooth-faced little twat. Don't pick a fight with ADHD people, because we've also got the fucking trans people on our team. You are in so much trouble, Wes. You are in so much trouble, basically.
And we should make life a bit more difficult for him because he's obviously got it a bit too easy, hasn't he? I'm just saying.
I don't think he's fixing the problems he told us he would, so we should challenge him constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, right. Well, we're going to leave it at that, I think. Just doing something here. Right, that's all done. Okay, so just want to say a big shout out and thank you to everyone in the chat. Obviously, that was an amazing, super generous chat there from Blab RCW, but also A. Thompson and Chris C. and Miss Paula Thomas, George Only, Charlie Nelson, Spooky Thang, and Viper Scott have all chipped in this evening, and thank you so much for that. You keep this channel alive, I tell you. And if you'd like to tune in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'll be back with Morning Brew, and then at 1 o'clock, I'll be chatting, hopefully not arguing, with our friend Phil Morehouse from A Different Bias. And then in the evening at 9:30, will you be joining us tomorrow night, Mike?
I hope so, yeah.
Are you about?
I hope so. I am. I've got an invite to another gallery opening, so I'm going to do that and then come and join you.
All right, you can join us a bit late. That's fine.
When I have to go and pretend to be social for about an hour and 20 minutes.
I'm going to say,
right, I'm off now. Bye.
That is dedication because you don't drink, and the only reason people go to those kind of things is for the free
drink.
Yeah.
I know. I
know. Sorry, Sarah can't make it tomorrow, so I'm sure you'll be able to make it later on in the day or watch on catch up. It's fine. We will meet again very soon. Thanks everyone in the chat. Thanks everyone for watching. If you'll do us a tiny little wee favor before you go, if you would give us a like, that would be absolutely amazing. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider giving a subscription, hitting the bell notification icon, and all that jazz. Big thank you to my wonderful co-host Mike Dix, who hopefully we'll see again tomorrow night. And until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, maybe.
Have you been speaking to my doctor? What do you mean, hopefully?
What?
What do you?
No, because you're going to a gallery opening. It might be really exciting. There might be some interactive
I was going
art.
to a gallery. How am I supposed to remember that? I only told you 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's true. It's like just trying to remember something like important rather than just a load of fucking mad trivia that just fills up your head. Anyway, talking true, I was supposed to go to a pub quiz tonight. Yep. Oh well, it starts in 2 minutes. I don't think I'm going to make it. Okay, thanks so much for watching. And until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Bye.